Now, we've had a look at Kennedys before. We've talked about John Kennedy, Jacqueline Kennedy. We also did some speeches about him. It took me a while to do that, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. 30 minutes and stuff. The second ever speech on American rhetoric was by JFK. We also talked about the Ted Kennedy, and we also talked about Teddy Kennedy and Chappaquiddick. We also talked about the civil rights, which JFK talked about too. And, well, I hope this isn't the same one. Nope. And we also did an updated version of the John F. Kennedy. And we also talked about the whole Kennedy dynasty. So, let's just see what the whole thing is about. And even though we talked about a lot of the Kennedys, we still haven't talked about RFK. So, let's get started on RFK. Side note before we start. Subscribe to the channel. We made videos about Charles Dickens, American history. We also made videos about the Christmas Carol recently. And we're gonna do videos about every day of 2023. We're not even gonna do the intro today. All I'm gonna do for the intro is Dark Sean. RFK has been a great ideal guy for years ago. RFK, Robert or Bobby Kennedy. I'm just gonna go for Robert F. Kennedy and sometimes Bobby Kennedy here, but probably Bobby Kennedy would be the most preferable guy. Anyways, Bobby Kennedy did a lot of things in the world. For my own opinion, there's just been a lot of things that happened to him. I mean, he had to repeat third grade. He had to move into a lot of boarding schools. He had to go into other elementary schools. And he also had to do a lot of other things too. So then, what do you really think about RFK anyway? Tell me in the comments down below. Now, recently, for the past 7 years, we talked about this. There's not much that happened. All I can say is that it's just one of the most awesomest days of our lives. It's been 6 years of Han Sean. And so I'd like to talk about RFK. Now, RFK was under the tragedy curse. He was born on November 20th of 1925 in Brookline, Massachusetts. He was one of the younger brothers of JFK and Joseph P. Kennedy Jr. He was the older brother of Ted Kennedy, and yeah, that's about it. He was born to a wealthy family, but he also knew what the poor were like. And that is the first goal for, well, the SDGs anyway, currently with other things too. Also, however, that he was able to do the goal number 17, he was able to recognize a lot of things too. He recognized this. He also recognized this. He also recognized quality education and good wealth and health-being. And I'm pretty sure that he was able to do all these too. He wasn't born into poverty, but he was able to do things about it too. And so yeah. So this is the Kennedy family, and you probably already know the childhood of the Kennedys already, because it's been a while since we've done it. The John F. Kennedy episode, it's been like 2 months. The newest version, Jacqueline Kennedy, some of those are just really old. And all I can say about this is that ever since RFK was born, there has been a change. If he wasn't born, or at least he didn't go into the Senate, or he didn't even run for president, we would have a very, very, very different timeline on our hands. But that never happened. So let's just get on with this. One of the greatest things I can say is that RFK was one of the best people ever. I just want to say that maybe he is just great. He did have to repeat third grade, but eventually, once he grew up to the 11th and 12th grade, he was able to progress, and he even entered Harvard University, eventually getting a degree from another university. So, well, that's a shame. But that is one of those things that could happen. It's not second grade, by the way, it's third grade. And then, after he got his Senate position, he resigned it so that he could become JFK's advisor, too. And also, one of JFK's campaign managers. After that, he was appointed by JFK himself to the Attorney General of the JFK administration. Eventually, this is a documentary title. by Netflix, Bobby Kennedy for president. This is all documented in there. Bobby Kennedy decided to run for president, and this became so true and so real at the same time. But however, just soon after, he was assassinated. How unplanned that was. RFK was great. I mean, he did so much in his life. But all I can say for that is that RFK did his best. And I just want to say that maybe, just maybe, it's not the end. Maybe he just started the beginning and we're in the middle of it. Well, maybe it is the end. But no matter what, RFK will still be one of the greatest people of all time. Ted Kennedy even did the eulogy, and some people, most people, everyone, except the people who knew Ted Kennedy so well, were surprised that Ted was able to do the eulogy. I'll do the speech of the eulogy today. So I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Shanan out. Peace. Have you ever wondered what darkshun is? I mean, we always go through all of the other topics. We sometimes talk about rocks. We sometimes talk about presidents, recently president. We sometimes talk about social studies. We also talk about, well, some other stuff too. And we always talk about these stuff in more depth. We also talk about authors. We talk about history, mainly history. So what is darkshun? Well, darkshun is mainly a history or social studies channel that is meant for only educational purposes. And this is highly unlikely, but I'll just say, for goodness sake, if teachers are using my content, which is very highly unlikely, unless I get like the 7 subscribers I need, then there will be a lot of things that I should say. Teachers, use this in your homes. It's completely free. Well, until I leave the house. That is. So yeah. See you guys in the next auction episode. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.